Hey everyone, it's Christine Job from Flourish in the Foreign, which is the podcast that elevates and affirms the voices and stories of Black women living and thriving abroad. But here we are on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. The YouTube channel is really about, again, elevating and affirming the voices and stories of Black women living abroad. But here we're really going to talk about the nitty gritty how to's. We're going to be interviewing Black women with their own businesses, how they made it happen, and why they decided to take their business abroad. All right. So today we have a very, very special guest. We have Kristin Tellis Quaye, who is an attorney and entrepreneur. Kristin and her husband are the founders of Certified Africa, a travel and lifestyle company that is assisting the African diaspora to travel, relocate, and start businesses in Ghana and other African countries. Kristin has lived, studied, and worked in Ghana for an extended period of time and has started several businesses with her husband, Nee, in Ghana. She lives between Ghana and the States as they build a bridge between the African diaspora and Africa. Welcome, Kristin. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. And let's just get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, but let's start at the very beginning. When you were raised, when you were growing up, when you are becoming an adult, did you have any idea that you would be living between Africa and the United States? What really planted the seeds for you to want to go abroad?
I actually did not know. I don't think it was until midway after college that I finally realized that I saw myself living and traveling abroad and wanting to live and travel abroad full time, at least for some period of my life. But I would say that I always had an interest in, at least going out and exploring. So I'm an only child, and most times only child kind of cling, and they don't want to leave home. But I always knew that I was going to leave home eventually. I went off to school in DC, as a young person, and that was like my first introduction to being away from home. And I think I was like fearless then. So it probably didn't come as a surprise eventually when I said I wanted to be abroad, because I was always, just out there and not afraid to try new things. But it hit me in law school that as I was getting ready to transition, I think I had 1 year of law school left. And it hit me that I was getting ready to go into, corporate America. And very much what I had saw is that I would be spending a lot of time in an office away from my family. And it just was not what I saw for myself. And I thought, whoa, is this what life is going to be like, And so it was actually, it actually spurred my decision to travel to Ghana, because I felt kind of like trapped. And I felt as if I did not go and travel at that time during my second year of law school, that I probably would never get the chance, because I would eventually get married, have kids, and I felt like those things would tie me down to the U.S.
Yes, that's something that we share, going to law school and kind of, not looking down the barrel of the gun, but it becomes real serious all of a sudden. You see what your life is supposed to be, especially in the current ways that success is defined, especially in the legal industry. And I think it's normal to get to second guess and be like, I don't know if I want to live that life, even if it's, golden handcuffs. It's just not that for everyone. So, but tell me, what was the catalyst? What was the impetus for creating Certified Africa?
Well, so when I actually did travel, so I ended up traveling to Ghana, and I spent about 3 months there. And it was like this amazing experience. First time on the continent, actually. First time in Africa. And because it was so impactful, I was like, whoa. So I wish other people, other Black people had the opportunity to experience this and just get out and see that the world like is global, that it's not just, you know, our little boxes that we have and what we know, because it was just so eye-opening. While I was there, it was a part academic, part, you know, me exploring. And so I had a chance to interact with Ghanaian law students while I was there. And during this legal study abroad program that I was in, the way that they knew everything about like world news and what was happening in America, and like I just knew nothing about what was happening, you know, outside of the US, it just like blew my mind. I was like, whoa, we got to get out more. We've got to get out more. And it's just, you know, the world is global. So that was like during that experience that really allowed for, you know, me to want to reach back and bring more people. So we ended up starting the company, and it was one of the first things that happened when my husband moved. And we noticed that a lot of Black people were not coming to Ghana for business. They were coming for the culture. They were coming for, you know, the traditional piece and connecting to their roots. And then they would leave. Some would stay, but then many would just go back, and that would be, you know, their only interaction with the continent. But my husband, he was seeing more people from Asia and from Europe. They would come, they would do business, they would relax. And, you know, that is why they were coming. And so we thought about it. We were like, you know, this presents an opportunity. Ghana and other African countries presents an opportunity for people to explore a new life. There's so many different opportunities. We have to show them what is possible in Africa. And that was really the catalyst.
So let's talk more about, you know, starting a business in Ghana. So tell me about doing business in Ghana. And tell me, did you decide to register your business in the United States or in Ghana? And how is it, I guess, what are the bureaucratic or technical kind of logistics you have to maneuver to be able to do that in Ghana?
Yes, so Certified Africa is actually registered in the US and in Ghana, because we, of course, have operations and a team in both places. But I would say that Ghana and other African countries are a little bit different because they are developing countries. There are still infrastructures that are not in place. This is also what is my favorite part about them, because it makes it, there's so much room for growth and opportunity. And the West is largely unexplored as compared to East Africa and South Africa, but it allows for an opportunity. And so what makes it a little bit different is here, maybe in the States, you can go online, you can pay your money, register your business, and it'll be done within 5 to 7 business days. There is really no online method to do that. And even when you might walk into an office, there is still much this bureaucratic system where you kind of have to know certain people to get certain things done. Africa is about relationships. And so while it is very much possible, what I would say is you need to get out, you need to meet people, you need to know people. And so that is where I feel like we come in handy for someone who is interested in starting a business, because we do have those connections in order to expedite the process of registering a business. And there are many others, of course, who do the same thing for people wanting to start a business there.
So tell me, how did you develop those relationships with the Ghanaian business people, community on the ground? How did that happen for you?
So, well, in part, of course, my husband living and growing up there and being, you know, he has developed a lot of relationships. And then, of course, with me being there and just interacting, I have also developed relationships with people as well. But it's really about just talking to people. It's not like, you have to have some sort of status or anything. It's really just about talking to people. I think we have this notion sometimes in the US where, let's say we might walk into a building and we feel like a certain person is not of importance. So we may just walk past them and not even, say hello. Those things in Ghana, culturally different, it's culturally different, and those things would not fly. And you just might realize that the person that you walk past thinking you're going to the head person, that person could be the one that can open the door for you. So everybody is important in your journey. Speak to people and just talk to people, and you will find your way. That's what I say. That's what I'll say about building relationships.
So let's talk more about the differences in, business culture from the United States to Ghana, and how have you been able to successfully navigate those as a Black American woman? Has there been any, I don't know, cultural shocks or things that have just been difficult for you to manage? Can we talk more about that?
I would say, I'm trying to think of something specific. There are so many cultural differences between Ghana and the US. I'm trying to think. I would say maybe, oh, okay. So there are a lot of differences as far as, this one's kind of stumping me. So there is a lot of differences as far as the way that things operate so for instance, here, I would say that it's done on people are paid by either the hour or paid by a annual salary. Whereas in Ghana, people are usually paid monthly. And so the way that it's kind of set up, people are used to, coming in and kind of like the work culture is very much different. So people will come in and they'll be there from like 9 to 9, and just kind of like it's this long extended, which I think impacts the way people, of course, work versus how when we come in and we're clocking by the hour and logging hours and doing all of this stuff. There's very much a more relaxed culture. So when you're operating a business, you have to really like adapt to those cultural differences and make people like, when you're approaching people and working with a team, is very much different, because what I'm used to coming from the States is, totally different from how they may be used to working and the setup. So that's one of the big things that I've noticed.
Mm. So let's talk more about Certified Africa. Talk to me about all the different things that you guys do, and tell me who's your target market? Who are you really trying to help and really try to transform?
Yes. So we do several things. I would say like there's two different, hello, I'm
I
sorry.
think you're frozen. It might be me. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. Can you
Hear me? Yes, I can hear you. If you could start from the beginning of that question, if you could.
Sure, I can. Apologize. So yes, we help people do several different things. I would say that there's two different gateways as far as how we help people. So number one, we do help people travel. And it's, you may be looking to get away, explore, do some soul searching, and just figure out maybe if living abroad or traveling abroad is for you. And then on the other side of that, if someone decides while they are there during this trip, if it's transformative enough, and they want to live abroad in Ghana, we offer services to help them relocate. And so we do help them through the entire process from the very beginning to the end, because wanting to move and desiring to move to a place is completely different from actually successfully moving and implementing that process. There's so many different things that go into that. And then if a person decides they want to move, we do help them start a business in Ghana and register the business so that they may have another source of income if they already don't have a job or something remote. And for those who have moved, we do offer services on ground to help them transition. So it may be something like a networking event where they can meet other expats or other Ghanaian entrepreneurs. But it's really like this whole kind of network. And once you're in, you're like family. And it's just really to support, I would say, Black people, Black women, their families, And whoever from the diaspora wants to move, that is who we are here to really support as they make their journey and decide that they want to live abroad in Africa.
I love it. I love it. I always tell people, getting abroad usually isn't the thing. It's staying
Yes,
abroad, it's
yes.
thriving abroad. And to do that, you got to be able to support yourself, but also you need community. It's so, so important. So if you could, let's break down, because a lot of people, they Google, they go on Facebook groups, but there's a gap in the knowledge on how to actually successful relocate. And I always tell people, invest. I always tell people, I'm like, look, if that's not your job, pay someone whose job that is, because it's just a world of difference. You will get there faster and more efficiently. I always tell people that. Some people always want to bootstrap. Cool, but you're gonna miss some things because you just aren't familiar. So could you maybe talk about some of the aspects of relocating to Ghana that might be tricky for someone who doesn't have access to someone like you and your company that really knows how to get to Ghana and stay and thrive?
I would say the biggest things that maybe people might overlook in that particular process, one of the huge things is that people oftentimes think about citizenship first. Will I be able, I don't know, there's this thing floating around. I get questions all the time like, oh, so Ghana is handing out citizenships. How do I get it? So they're not handing out citizenships. And many of the people who recently became Ghanaian citizens that were, of course, from the US, they have been living in Ghana for like 20 plus years, some of them. So it really people have to think about, manage the expectations of getting citizenship. I really feel like it's possible, but sometimes it is a long process. And I don't really think that it is the most vital part of why you should decide to move, just because there are so many other things that you can do to be able to live in the country. For instance, there's a step between, you getting your temporary visa and you becoming a citizenship. That is your residence permit. And that allows for you to legally stay in Ghana and, be okay. And that is what many people use to operate and as they are, expating to another country. And so, that residence permit is something that you can't do until you get on ground. And, maybe some people don't know that. They think that, okay, I'm interested in moving. The first thing I need to do is find out about citizenship. But, it's possible. And when you get on ground, you can do your residence permit. And, there's just the first thing you need is just your visa. So that is one element that I would say is something that people probably are just not aware of before they decide to move. And there are many others. I can go into more as well.
I would love for you too, but I just thought of something that I've seen on Facebook groups, which people get their, DNA ancestry.com swab, and then they say, and I don't know how true this is because I don't know that much. And they're like, well, I'm this much, Ghanaian or Nigerian or Senegalese, so I'm going to get citizenship. Is there any truth to that? Can you get citizenship from an ancestry.com swab? I don't know.
No. As of now, I don't know any programs that are doing that at all. I do know of like ancestry trips. So if you find out that you have like Ghanaian heritage or Nigerian heritage, you could take a trip and connect, with somebody from that particular country, or maybe you might find out what your tribe is. But as far as now, there's really no way to tell. And honestly, I don't know that will ever happen. When people have to think of what Africa was before and what Africa is now. Africa was a vast land where people were able to move back and forth. Now we have arbitrary borders that they've drawn, and people are not moving back and forth as much. So you might pull up as, Nigerian, but maybe your people are really from a neighboring country and they've moved to Nigeria now. So it just makes it really complex and complicated. And I don't think that that will be a method for them determining citizenship. However, what I do know as far as Ghana is, I think, unique in many ways because they are trying to roll out more processes to welcome the diaspora in a more efficient way. Like they do have a 7-pillar framework with their Beyond the Return, program, and it allows for one of the pillars is, of course, making it easier for people to do business, making it easier for people to come back and get settled in if they want to repatriate. So that is something that people can expect within the coming years for it to be easier for them to do those things.
Okay. So tell me, some people are like, I want to go, but I'm not sure if I financially can. That's a big concern for a lot of people. What are the financial requirements for people to emigrate to Ghana?
So I would say that one of the things that we teach people in our program is that we want them to have at least whatever their lifestyle is, their current lifestyle is now. I would want for them to do some sort of calculation, like what are you spending monthly right now? And then, make sure that you save up, if you could, 2 years of you being able to live, if you could. And when we walk them through a process where we're comparing, of course, what they're spending now and then what things typically cost in Ghana, which I would say that whatever they're spending now, typically it could be cut in half or more when they go to Ghana. So when we say 2 years worth of however you're living now, that gives you some cushion room because you don't want to get there on your last dime and now there's pressure for you to do so many things in the first year. And so at least if you have 2 years, that allows for you to maybe get your bearings the first 6 months. And then after the first 6 months, maybe you're thinking of ways that you can add income streams, and it all will end up, being a smoother process for you versus because time moves fast. When you start living abroad and the culture is different and it's not like the rat race, it will move fast and you will look up and realize the first year is over and my money is running out. So, that is one of the things with the whole budget that we recommend.
So I know you also help people to establish businesses so that they can support themselves. Are the businesses that you help them to create, are they directed towards the Ghanaian market or are they directed to a different market?
It can be whatever you desire, wherever you're. And so I would say that because there are so many opportunities, what we really usually do is we'll take a look at what the person's skill set is, what they're interested in, and then also where there is a need on ground, and we'll give recommendations based upon what they're interested in and what's achievable as far as both long term, what they want to do, and in the short term, like, sometimes you may do a particular business in short term because it's a faster way to get income. But it can be, I would say that there's so many different markets available. So with the diaspora moving, they have certain products and services that they probably want, maybe that they have from back home, and they want them now. And so that is an awesome market. And now they have more disposable income because they've slashed their budgets. And so a lot of times they'll spend more on some of these, like, beauty services and health and wellness. So, if you're starting a business in one of those areas that's catering to the diaspora, I think people will do very, very well. And then also, we just had someone who wants to start a barbershop. They're planning to start a barbershop. They just moved. And so that is targeting both local and the diaspora market. So there's an example there.
Tell me a little bit about the dynamic between, the diaspora that is moving to Ghana and the local Ghanaians. Is it, love? Is there tension? What is it like?
So I would say for me, I'm an energy person and I feel like people feed off of each other's energy, and I do the same. So what I would recommend coming in is to just have good energy, and
Hmm.
do not have expectations of really anything of how people should behave or act. Just be open, observe, because things will be culturally different. And I've made the mistake of going and wanting to be like, for people to just jump at me, like that type of thing. But, in certain situations, it just will not be like that. And so I had to understand that because things are done differently, maybe if I'm walking into a room and I'm expecting people to greet me, maybe it might be the other way around because the person in the room is an elder, or, it's just in this particular location, people are not exchanging, certain exchanges back and forth. So me going in and expecting a certain interaction may just not be the right place for that to culturally happen. So once I kind of took out those notions of how somebody should respond to me, I felt like I got better energy from people, and people were so, so welcoming. And so I would just say, show how much, you're interested, show how much you are wanting to be a part of the culture, and that will be the catalyst, because they love that. They love to, for people to be interested in Ghanaian culture, to want to learn the language, to want to interact with them. And they will literally like take you under their wing and just make your stay in your new life amazing. And so that's what I've learned. Of course, there are bad apples. There are bad apples everywhere. But, I don't think that they are widespread. I don't think it's a widespread thing. And I do feel like, of course, with me and my husband being from two different cultures, we are kind of able to experience this. And there's been a lot of conversation about that. And so we actually have done several videos on this where we both feel like it is a both an exchange. So Ghanaians also have to learn more about the diaspora and where we are coming from and the things that we've been through as far as trauma and all of those things. And they also have to, I feel like, tailor their approach, because it will be so different from where we are coming from. So it's something that we are working on, doing more conversations around on ground and making that relationship between the two groups smoother.
Okay. So, a lot of people are going to want to be moving and they have families, maybe even small children. Do your relocation services help them to find schools or, some kind of help or things like that to help with the children?
Yes, of course. Yes, for sure. If they have children, we will be able to help them find the best school for the child or children. And then also, if they want to homeschool, or they want their child to learn the local language or something like that, we are able to support in that way, for sure.
Are there any notable differences between the Ghanaian education system and what people may be used to in like an American system?
I would say yes, there is. So I would say it's very much kind of based on Europe. The European system is kind of influencing it a lot. But many of the local schools wear uniforms, and they have children, mainly young girls, cut their hair. Like, there are just so many different differences between them. But the local education is free. They do have a free education system. And from what my husband has experienced, those local school systems are very good, and the education is good. But many people coming from either the US or from Europe or wherever they may be moving from, they tend to want to have like either the UK style of teaching or the European. And they do have schools that people have started who teach that curriculum.
Okay. And what would you recommend, if people are moving to Ghana, should they book like an Airbnb? Or is there another kind of way to navigate like the housing process? Is there a way to secure housing before you land? Is that even recommended?
If it was up to me, like I would not try to, I wouldn't recommend it doing it on your own prior to you getting there. Definitely do not buy anything before you get there. Don't buy a house, don't buy like an apartment, whatever. Don't buy or land. Don't buy before you get on ground and see anything. And that is why I caution also with the whole Airbnb thing too, before you get there. It's not really like our Airbnb system here where like and look at the pictures and like you can guarantee that when you get there it's going to look exactly like how it did on the pictures. I've had that experience where that has not been the case. Like people have booked Airbnbs and they've gotten there and it's like, I'm not going to be able to live in this place. I'm going to need a new place. So I would recommend if you are moving, probably do a hotel. Like do a hotel for a week or 3 days, whatever, and then you get on the ground, you find someone and help you pick out the Airbnbs that you want, and then you go to each location and try to see what they look like. And so oftentimes people are actually messaging and connecting offline to be able to find these Airbnbs because of what what people have experienced. So, and then from there, once they've done the Airbnb, I would recommend like doing that for at least maybe 3 to 6 months so that they can decide what their next housing strategy will be. Will it be to build a house from ground up? Will it be to purchase land or purchase an apartment, whatever, or condo, whatever it might be? And we are able to help with that particular process. Like we've recently helped some people move into purchase land. One, we've helped them purchase the land, and then we've also helped them secure their temporary housing where they'll be staying for 6 months before they build and purchase.
I did want to ask you, I see that, I don't know, maybe for Ghana in particular, but I know other countries on the continent. I'm thinking Tanzania, the Gambia, maybe even Senegal. People are talking about bringing a lot of things and a whole shipment of things. What are your feelings about that? Should people be taking all that stuff?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think that they should really be taking all of those things. Most often they're not going to need them. And it's expensive. It's expensive to ship all of those things. But I do feel like it does depend on the country, maybe like, but I feel like in Africa, like transportation is widespread. Like you can always find a driver and it's affordable. It probably will be better for you. And number one, because you probably won't be used to how they drive there. Number two, you can probably find a car on ground that is usable and a lot less expensive. And you can sell your car back home and get good money for it. And once you get on ground and you have all of these things, it can be stressful trying to clear these goods at the port. Like my husband had a horror story. Like his dad lives in the UK, and so his dad would send goods home to the family all the time. And when he was using the port, there was one time where he sent a huge shipment. They never got it because they made it so hard for them to clear these goods. And the longer that the goods stayed at the port, every day was a tax. And the more that the tax built up, it became even more than what the goods were worth. And so they had to just walk away. And that is what happens. People will frustrate you through the process to where you don't get your stuff. And now you are out of luck. So I would do, if you do shipping, do door-to-door shipping. And then you have to figure out, okay, so where will I be shipping it to? Because I may or may not have my place, as far as with door-to-door shipping, I may not have my place already set. So where will it be going to? So you'll have to think about that. And then, just try to see if you can bring everything that you are moving within your bags, like the bags that you have, and then pay for extra bags if you need to, because that may be a better strategy. And then when you get on ground, like furniture, all of that, people build these things and it's very inexpensive. So that's what I recommend as far as shipping the things, because I've seen some interesting.
Like, I'm shipping a backhoe and I'm like, what? But I don't know anything. So I'm just like, all right, I guess if that's what you think you need to do, I don't know. So a little bit based off that, let's talk about taxes and tax liability, being a resident in Ghana or, any number of African countries, because if the listeners who are watching this right now, if you're American, you're always going to have a tax responsibility in the United States. What happens, you may not have to owe, but you will always have to file. So, tax.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I will say you do. So when you are registering a bank overseas, I do know in Ghana, they are required to report to the US government that you're registering a bank overseas. So you will get taxed on that money that is coming into that when you go and register with your passport, etc. But I would say there is less taxes when you get on ground in Ghana, so that will help balance it out if you do, if you're not completely giving up your American citizenship, which most people don't. So you will, as far as like housing, which is a big taxing thing here, most oftentimes you're going to pay minimal. I would say very, very minimal, if nothing at all, as far as property taxes. Like my husband always tells a story that when he was growing up, he only remembers them like taking taxes and coming by to collect taxes like once in his whole entire life. And even then, his mom was like arguing with the people, like, like, oh, I don't really want to pay this. But in the end, they worked something out and it was very minimal. But people don't really take property taxes like that. I would say where it may come in is if, you have a business and that business is like huge and like doing very, very well. Like with some of these factories and manufacturing and oil, like they have to, of course, pay their taxes to the Ghana Investment and Promotion Center and all of that through that process. So you really don't have to worry much about taxes at all as far as Ghana.
So let's also talk about something that is super duper important: healthcare insurance. How do people navigate that as an expat, knowing that, do they have access to the local public options, or do they have to be privately insured and only go to private hospitals?
No, they don't. They can definitely walk in to any of the hospitals, to any of the clinics, register, get a health card, and be serviced. And a lot of times people do that because it's significantly cheaper to do that. But you can also get on a health plan. I think there's a company called, if I'm saying it right, Aetna, Aetna. They offer plans for people abroad that you can use at some of the private hospitals that take that. And there are many great private hospitals that are within Ghana that give good care. But whatever you might need, if it's like an OBGYN or you're having a baby, you're delivering a baby, whatever it might be, they have dentists, they have the services, and you can walk in and just pay out of pocket. And that is what many Ghanaians do. There's not a huge system with like health insurance, but it is possible if you want to have that coverage before you leave.
Okay, so let us talk about your Moving to Ghana Doing Business program. What is that? What does it encompass?
So it encompasses, literally, we are your guide, your transition, your Google, whatever it may be in that moment or during that period of you moving. And I really look at it as a resource. Like what you said, people could be spending a lot of time researching and going to these groups and going to this Facebook group and, just doing a lot. And it can be stressful. Like this kind of just removes all of that because we have our team on ground. We know the culture, we know Ghana, we know the ins and outs and the intricacies of everything. So if you have a question about something, like, we probably have a great answer for it, or know where we can get the answer to whatever your concern is. And then also, when you're thinking about where you're going to live, when you're thinking about the neighborhood and where your children might go to school, like, we are better suited to be able to help you navigate that. Some people may decide, oh, okay, like, this place, I've seen it, it's really cheap, and I'm gonna just go with it because it's cheap, not knowing that, okay, maybe that place is 2 hours out. You'll be 2 hours in traffic to be able to get your child to school, or to be able to go to where you're going to be working, whatever it might be. But we would be able to recommend and help people choose based upon what we know about the local landscape. And then, we also help people, as we're helping them through this formalized process of all the things, all the documentation that they need, mindset, their goals, establishing themselves in Ghanaian society and culture, understanding the cultural differences. As we're navigating them through this process, we also help them with, of course, as I mentioned, starting the business and finding out how their skill set can be used on ground. Or if they're going to do a virtual business or remote business, we can help them, figure out how that will work. What will they need and all of that. And then we don't just leave you. We don't just drop you off after the course is over. Once you get on ground, we are there to help you transition. So, when you get there, we'll be there to pick you up at the airport, take you to your place. And we allow for you to just contact us. Like, there's no limit on that. You contact us. If you have a question, we're there through your transition period to make it so smooth, very smooth. So that is in essence what the program is.
That's amazing. How long is the course for? And who would you say is it for? Is it for people who are like, I'm trying to move in the next 5 years, 2 years, or I'm trying to make it happen in 2020?
So I would say that anybody can really do the course right now. We do have people who are moving 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We have people who want to move within the next year or less. So it really just depends on what the person is looking for. But the course is 6 weeks, and it is, a process where, we're taking you through, and anybody can benefit from having that process. And so even if you were to move 2 years from now and we finish the course now, when it comes time for you to move, then we'll just, get your transition period at that particular time. So it's not a big deal if you're moving in 5 years and you do the course now. I think it is a great resource for you to start, because here's the thing. Most people are like, I have people contact all the time and they're like, well, I'm not moving until 2023. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you say that you want to move in 2023, but do you know the things that you need in order to prepare yourself to move for 2023? Like, they're waiting until, like, I think maybe a year, whatever they have in their minds. But here's the thing. If you had started the process and you were going through everything with us, you would realize, I want to move in 2023, but my finances are not looking right now. Like, these are the things that I need to save and do in order to make my journey actually a reality in 2023. So that's why I think it really is for anybody who wants to move, whatever their timeline.
All right. So tell me, this is something that I'd like to talk to all of my guests about, is about wellness, because I think as Black women, we don't talk about it enough. Mainstream media has, hijacked what wellness should mean. And sometimes people don't resonate with it. They're like, I got real things. I don't need a bath bomb. Like, I need something else. And so I would love to know how your experience, developing this business and living in Ghana and helping people make that transition, how has this influenced your definition of wellness, how you practice it, or even how have you seen people that you've worked with, their wellness has been transformed?
Oh yeah, I would say it's been transformed exponentially. Wellness, I feel like living in the States just gives a bad notion of what wellness is. Like, I've recently just had to do some introspection about wellness and taking care of myself, because oftentimes when we think about, self-care and wellness, sometimes wellness is associated here in the States with like a reward. Like, we have to have like, oh, I got a bonus, so now I can go and treat myself to a massage. Or, it's kind of like something that you do when you have more money. And a lot of times people are so budget conscious here that they're not doing self-care. They're not doing all of these things. Some of those things just make you feel good, whatever it might be, whatever that definition is for you. I feel like moving abroad allows for you to do that more. Like, when I'm in Ghana, like, suddenly with my budget opened up, I can go and get my nails done. I can go and get a massage. Like, I can schedule a monthly consistent appointment to do those things. In addition, I just feel like when people move, they are able to take better care of themselves with the foods that they're eating. Like the foods that I eat are not junk food when I'm there. Like, there's not really that, because everything is freshly prepared. Everything is made from ingredients that are from the ground and from fruits and vegetables. And so I do feel like your wellness will be transformed. People are taking herbs and things that will make them live longer and just live a more radiant life. Because you slow down, that allows for you to meditate and just vibrate at a higher level and really connect with people. I don't think people will realize just connecting with other people, how that just makes you overall feel well. So you will have more interactions and a better lifestyle when you do go abroad and realize that people are living a lot differently. And our definition of wellness is just skewed in many ways. So it's just taking time for myself and not penny pinching when it comes to things that allow for me to vibrate higher. If I am leaking as far as my energy, I can't do well in my business. I can't do well and be there for others. And so that's what I've noticed now as I am transitioning. So very much so, it's been transformed.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it, because I think that people sometimes they want to maybe it's a lifelong kind of aspiration or whatever, but the thing is that they still take the same mentality into the next place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about, let's creatively and let's consciously cultivate a life well lived, whatever that means for you. And that has to also be taking care of yourself. Sometimes people don't even know what that means, because we are so connected. We don't even know who we are. We don't even know what we need. And we have lived in such a society of deprivation for so long that abundance and richness feel wrong. And it's like, no, you got this one life. You need to enjoy it, whatever that means to you, and take care of yourself, necessary. But thank you so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. Tell us, where can we find you? I know you have a YouTube channel. Where can we find you on social media? And of course, where can we find your course?
Yes, so you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, at Certified Africa, on all of those channels. You can find us at our website, www.certifiedafrica.com. And you can visit the website and click on the link about the course to find the course. So visit the website, or if you're ready to go and you want to get on the phone with someone and talk about it, you can email us, certifiedafrica@gmail.com.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kristin. I really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, that has been all for today's session. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Flourish in the Foreign YouTube channel. Please make sure that you are subscribed to YouTube channel, that you have liked this video, and that please leave us a comment. Tell us how you have felt about watching this episode. Tell me, tell Kristin, let us know. And until next time, see you guys later.